And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So I hope you guys are all well. There's a lot to go through in today's video. Of course, Celtic aren't now back in action until this weekend on Sunday as we take on Dundee at Dens Park. It's going to be a tough game. As we get into the last 6 games of the season, of course, 5 in the league and then the Scottish Cup final. But despite us not being in action until the weekend, there's a lot of news to discuss in today's video. So as you can tell by the title, Celtic mistake exposed as fans are outrageous. So we'll discuss that towards the end of this video. It's quite an interesting story, and I do want to get your thoughts and opinions on that story as we do cover it a bit later on. But I want to discuss a player that we signed in the summertime. Of course, the summer transfer window was, to put it quite bluntly, pretty poor. The quality that we brought in through the door, the money that we spent, wasn't good enough for a club like Celtic. And the majority of the players that we signed in the summer transfer window, I'd say all of them bar one in the summer, haven't really done well whatsoever. Now, of course, the one exception that you could maybe argue has done fairly okay, still not an exceptional signing, is Lewis Palmer, of course. He's had a lot of ups and downs this season, with injuries, with inconsistent form, but he's definitely shown at times that he can be a quality of player that Celtic are looking for. So I do want to discuss him a little bit, because he's done an interview today on the official YouTube channel of Celtic, basically discussing his favourite moments of his career at the club so far, and kind of gave us an insight on what to expect from him in the future as he remains to be a Celtic player. So we'll discuss that now. So, of course, Palmer has had a season full of ups and downs, I just mentioned, from big goals and big games to injuries and a run of poor form. He came in at the end of the summer transfer window, and there was a lot of buzz surrounding his signing, but after initially performing well, he's failed to live up to the standard he's set for himself. Since his £3.5 million transfer from Aris Thessaloniki, the winger has registered 9 goals and 10 assists, making himself a focal point in Celtic's attack. The winger has acknowledged that his form hasn't been the best since his return from injury, vowing to fans that he will continue to try his best and turn the corner in these last 6 games of the season. In an interview with fellow Honduran and former Celtic player Emilio Izaguri on Celtic's official YouTube channel, Palmer shared a match that will live long in the memory of the player. He said, "I think that night against Atletico Madrid we were 2-2 in the Champions League. I don't think I'll ever forget it. The madness of the fans when they came onto the pitch was incredible. It was a spectacle. We could say it was the biggest crowd of any team I've been to. There are no words for how they motivate you." Palmer's goal gave Celtic the lead that night. He was then briefly on the right wing when the ball landed perfectly formed to strike into the back of the net. Celtic Park was rocking that night. Hopefully Palmer can find his form from back then before the end of the season. So, I mean, that game was amazing. The atmosphere at Celtic Park, that match was absolutely incredible, as you just mentioned. And yeah, hopefully he can kind of find that form that he's shown in that game. Of course, as I mentioned in the kind of build-up to that story, there has been glimpses of him being such a quality player. He just kind of lacks that consistency at the moment so far, which is frustrating to watch, of course. Celtic fans, of course, watch every single game, know that he has got potential to be a very good player for us. It is just a matter of, well, first off, his injury situation, I suppose, kind of does play a factor as well, but also the inconsistent performances, sometimes playing really well, and then sometimes going missing in matches as well, is a little bit frustrating. But yeah, from the crop of players that we got in the summertime, he's definitely been the standout of that lot. The diamond amongst the crap, or amongst the mud, if you will. Of course, the other players, I'm sure they'll have time to grow, but Palmer's the only one that's really shown any glimpses of what he can do and be in the future, and be a quality player for Celtic. Of course, 9 goals and 10 assists isn't a bad little return, but we just know, watching him week in, week out, that there are some games that he's not performing to the quality that we need for a Celtic player. Now, a man that I do want to discuss is a former Celtic player. That is Karamako Demele, a little throwback there for you guys. Karamako Demele was, of course, a wonder kid since the age of 13, coming through the Celtic Youth Academy, the ranks, the youth level. A lot of eyes on him from a very, very young age. I remember years ago when he was about 13, 14, it was him and Xavi Simons were the two kind of like prodigy kids in the UEFA ranks, people were talking about, of course, Xavi was at Barcelona, then PSG. Karamako was, of course, at Celtic at the time, and those two players at that age were like wonder kids. It was a very weird time, of course, those very young players, 13, 14, dubbed to be the next big thing in football. Now, of course, Xavi Simons is doing really, really well right now with RB Leipzig. Karamako Dembele's career has gone a slightly different path, to be completely honest with you. But despite this, he is on loan at Blackpool in League One, and he has been named Supporters Player of the Year after a season where the winger has enjoyed his best personal growth on the field. After leaving Celtic, the winger moved to the Brest, where he was used sparingly in the French league, being left on the bench more often than not. Last summer, Karamako was given the opportunity to go out on loan to Blackpool FC and jumped at the chance to finally get first team game time. The 21-year-old has made 45 appearances for the English side, scoring 12 goals and grabbing 8 assists. At Blackpool's award show on Tuesday evening, the young man was voted as the Supporters Player of the Year. There was a massive hope for Demele at Celtic, but the stars never aligned for him, and he wanted to leave the club when his contract expired. After a solid season at Blackpool, will the player now look to make a splash in France, or will he push for a move back to the UK? Now look, I know Blackpool, of course, in the League One, they aren't exactly a great team, let's be completely honest with you. It's not exactly a great level of football to be playing at, but it's definitely the right step towards a successful career for Demele. Of course, he's still owned by Brest in France. He can still potentially make an impact there if they give him the opportunity to do so. Of course, he has shown this season, I suppose, with Blackpool that if he is given game time, he can do a job for you. So I guess the question for you guys really is there a world where maybe Karamako could potentially return to Celtic if he keeps up a good form, maybe in France or in the next step up in the English pyramid? Is there a world where you can see him return to Celtic potentially, or do you think that kind of ship has sailed forever? And of course, it's a shame it never really worked out for him at Celtic. Could you argue he never really got the game time that he maybe needed to grow into the team? Maybe, I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys to discuss in the comment section below. But it's good to see him do so well. I've seen a lot on Twitter. A lot of the Celtic fans are happy for him as well, showing support for Karamako Demele. And some fans saying maybe it was a mistake Celtic letting him go. Who knows? But I don't think that's the case right now. He's 21 years old. He played in League One. Not the quality that we need right now, but definitely got a bright future if he can continue to perform like he has this season. But, of course, let me know what you made of what we discussed in today's video. First of all, about Luis Palma. Is he the best signing from the summer transfer window? I would argue the best signing this season's probably been Adam Idah. But he came through in the winter transfer window, of course. But Palma, for me, is probably one of the better signings from the summer transfer window. Still not great, but definitely doing a better job than most. And let me know your thoughts with regards to Karamako Demele as well. Do you think Celtic made a mistake letting him go? Yes or no? And that does bring us to the end of today's video. As always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.